Welcome to Art Fun with Mrs. Lombardo. Today we're going to learn how to draw dinosaurs using basic shapes and bright colors. Let's get started. Don't forget to pause if you need more time. We are going to make 4 different kinds of dinosaurs, so I want to divide my paper into 4 sections. So I'm going to fold it and match up the corners. Increase my paper. I'm going to open it back up, and now I'm going to fold it horizontally and match my corners, match my edges, increase it again. Now when I open it, my paper has 4 sections. You can divide your sections if you like, so it's easier to see them by tracing the fold. You can use a pencil or a crayon. I'm going to draw with a marker so you can see it a little better. Remember, you might want to draw these pictures a few times to get them the way you like them. Practice makes perfect. When you get them the way you like them in pencil or crayon, then you can go back and add marker and more details. Now, my first dinosaur I'm going to make up here in the top corner, and I'm going to make a long neck dinosaur. And I only have a small space, so I have to be careful how big I make my circles and my ovals to create the dinosaur. So starting right here, I'm going to practice with my finger first and make a small oval kind of a shape. Not quite to the bottom, I need to leave room for the legs. And there's my oval. I have room for legs down here, and I have room for a tail. Now my oval, this is the body. I'm going to slide up here to make the head. I need to leave room for a neck. So this oval is going to be right about here, and it's smaller than the first oval. So here is my head. Give it an eye and some teeth, any kind of mouth you like, and a neck that curves down to the body. It's a nice long neck. Let's give them a nice long tail too. So I'm going to make my line come down, stop right near the edge, and I'm going to come back to the body for the tail. Now he needs 2 little legs. They're rectangles. You come down. They're not too skinny. This is a big dinosaur, so he needs a big wide leg to hold him up. And they're not real long either. So here is my dinosaur with a small head and a long neck, an oval shaped body on 2 little rectangular legs, and a long pointy tail. Now, if you want to be fancy, you can give your dinosaur some spikes or some curved plates on the back of his tail and his back. Even up here on the head, you can do whatever you like. That is our first dinosaur. Later on, you might decide to draw some baby dinosaurs or something fun in the background. This dinosaur, we're going to, instead of an oval, we're going to do half of a circle with a flat bottom. So kind of like this oval, but when we curve up and around, we're going to give it a flat bottom instead of a rounded bottom. So here we go. I'm going to put it right here in the middle. I'm going to leave room for a head and a tail. Practice with my finger if I need to make my little hill, to make my half circle. Here we go. Half of a circle, a hill, and a flat bottom. That is the body of my dinosaur. This dinosaur's head is going to be right against its body. And it's kind of a teardrop shape. It's just a little loop right in front of the body. Right now it looks a little bit like a turtle. I'm going to give it a long tail. And a face with a mouth. And he needs 2 legs. Just like this dinosaur, he needs some thick, rectangular looking legs. And to make him really cool, I'm going to give him some details. How about some spikes on his head? Maybe some big spikes along his back here. It's just a zigzag line. Think of a letter V upside down. Up and down, up and down. How about on his tail too? This looks like a pretty tough looking dinosaur. You can decorate him with spots or stripes or more zigzags. You could give him a beautiful background here of a tropical forest if you like. You decide how you want your background to look. I think it would look nice if each one of these had a different background. Let's do this one over here. It's going to be similar to this one. I'm going to make this half circle body, but I'm going to make his head on this side instead, looking the other direction. So this one is also going to have a fancy plate behind his head for when he's fighting other dinosaurs. He has some protection. So first, let's make his head an oval. I drew it near the edge, so I had a lot of room over here to draw the rest of the dinosaur. This one has an eye and a mouth also. And I'm going to put a line here, and right below it, another line on the other side of his head. And now for the big plate that goes around his head here. So it's just like a backwards letter C. It's a curved line. So I had my 2 little lines and I connected it with a curved line. You can decorate this if you like. Give it some scales or some stripes, some different plates going around the head, just by drawing some little lines. Now, I need a body for this dinosaur similar to this dinosaur. So just like before, I'm going to make a hill, leave room for the tail, and a flat bottom, all the way back to the head. He needs his little stocky legs. And here's the tail. I'm going to make it a little curvy because it looks like he's swinging his tail back and around. He needs some spikes also. I like drawing zigzag spikes. Maybe he'll have some stripy spikes on his body. You decide. Your dinosaur could have hearts on it. It could have swirls. Anything you like. What kind of background could this dinosaur have? Maybe it's in some sort of a garden. Is it eating fruits and vegetables or flowers even? Who knows? You draw yours the way you like it. Now, the last dinosaur I'm going to draw is one we all love, and that is a T-Rex or a raptor of some sort. So right here, I'm going to draw a head and a triangular shaped body with a tail. This is my version of a T-Rex. So here I'm going to draw the oval, an eye, and some sharp teeth. He doesn't look very happy. Then down here, I'm going to leave room for a neck and a triangular shaped body. So if I draw the bottom of his body here and put a point here above it, go straight up the middle from the bottom of your triangle, and I'm going to curve it to the point. Curve it to the point. That makes a triangular sort of body. Give him a neck. He needs a big tail back here. Maybe with some spikes on it too. What else do we need? We need his legs. Remember, don't make them too long or too skinny. And then he has some little arms that come out. That's one arm. Put the top on it. There's another arm. Put a little top on it. And claws. 1, 2, 3. How many claws is your T-Rex going to have? What should be in the background? Well, you could draw a volcano erupting. You can draw a little T-Rex, or maybe he has another friend, or maybe an enemy that he's battling over here. You decide how you want to make yours look. I'm going to give mine a front area here where I can draw scales and colored another color. And that's how you make 4 different dinosaurs. We used ovals, half circles, and triangles. We drew in different directions and added stripes and zigzags. And we even made a larger triangle to make our dinosaur look like he's standing up on his hind legs. I want you to practice drawing dinosaurs as many times as you can. Try the ones I've drawn and try using your own shapes to create your own exciting and frightening dinosaurs. I can't wait to see what colors you use and what details you add to your background. Be creative and share what you've learned with me. I can't wait to see what you're going to make. Now let's use our crayons and markers to add a lot of colorful details to our picture. Let's color this first dinosaur together to give you an idea of some of the colors you can use. I'm going to use crayons. You could also use colored pencils. Instead of a green dinosaur, I'm going to make mine magenta and purple. These are the colors I'm going to use to make my dinosaur unique. That means it's unusual. It's not something you would expect. First, I'm going to take my magenta and I'm going to color lightly inside the shape, very lightly. I want to still be able to see my lines. If you used a black crayon, just definitely color lightly so the crayon doesn't smudge too much. You might want to go over it with a marker after you've drawn it in pencil. I'm going to color very lightly the whole dinosaur. I'm being very careful to stay in the lines. If I need to, I can turn my paper. I like to outline around the edge of a shape, color in carefully around that edge, and then fill in the middle. Notice I filled in everything. I don't have any gaps, any blank spots. Color the legs. Now my magenta dinosaur is looking pretty good, just this one color of magenta. But to make it a little fancier, we're going to add another color to it. So magenta is finished. It's this reddish pink color. Now I'm going to choose purple. And purple is going to be the shadow on the dinosaur. It's where it's a little darker. Maybe the light's not shining in that spot quite as much. So I'm going to put it under his mouth, right on top of the magenta, and around the back of his head, a little bit just in the back. See how it makes it darker on this side and lighter on this side? Now, right here on his neck, I'm going to make half of it have some purple. And I'm just coloring lightly over the magenta that's already there. And the other side, I didn't color at all. So it's half magenta and half of it has purple. Here I'm going to do his belly. This is his underside. It's a little darker down there in the shadows. I'm just curling right around the edge. Just the bottom part. See how it's making him look a little bit more rounded? Instead of being flat on the paper, it's making him look like he has an actual rounded shape. The back of his legs, we can do the same thing. Just do half of the leg right at the back, because that's where the shadow would be. And the bottom of his tail, the bottom edge. I'm just lightly coloring over the magenta on half of his tail, all the way down to the point. So see now how my dinosaur looks like it has more of a shape that's rounded. It doesn't look as flat. The last color I'm going to use is a pink. And I'm going to use the pink to go over the whole dinosaur, over the magenta and the purple. And I'm just coloring gently to help blend the colors together. So it helps them pop a little bit more. It gets rid of some of these little white spaces that are still showing on the paper. I colored pretty well, but the paper has a little bit of a texture to it. And so by going over it with the pink, it smooths that out and fills in those little white spaces and makes the dinosaur look a little more finished. See how it filled them in? You can see down here where it hasn't been colored yet, there's still white showing. And up here, most of the white is gone. If you press too hard, you won't be able to see the magenta very well. So you need to press lightly. Take your time. If you need to turn your paper, do that. Don't forget his legs. And if you see a spot you missed, go back and color over it a little bit more. Or if it's not quite dark enough, you can always make it a little bit darker by going back with the purple and just gently adding a little more color. So there is my dinosaur with some shading, so it doesn't look as flat and plain. Now what else could I do? I said earlier that I think I would like to draw some baby dinosaurs. How do I do a baby dinosaur for this guy? Well, it's the same thing, just smaller. So earlier I had to draw an oval for the head. So I'm going to draw a small one here. I have enough room to draw a little dinosaur right here. So let's give him an eye and a mouth. Here's his body. Make sure you leave room for a little neck. We want a nice long neck. He needs a couple of legs. They should be short and square, and a little tail. And there's a baby long neck. This one, an oval head with an eye and a mouth. And the body over here, leave room for a long neck. And this one, his neck is going to be a little straighter. Maybe he's reaching out, trying to grab something. Maybe looking for a leaf on a tree. With his little legs and his long tail. He needs some friends down here, maybe some brothers or sisters. So let's give another dinosaur head here. This one's reaching down to the ground. Maybe there's a leaf or a plant down here he wants to eat. Here's a body. And the long neck. Don't make them too thick. You want them to be nice and thin, long necks. This one, his tail is going to curve. They don't always have their tail straight behind them. Sometimes they're curved. And his legs. And I think I have room for one more right here. This one maybe is looking over his brother's head to see where his friend is. So a head there and a body here. The long neck. An eye and a mouth. Don't forget the legs. And a long tail. And there are some baby dinosaurs. I can't wait to see how you are going to color your picture and add details to your background. Choose carefully the colors for each of your dinosaurs. Be creative and have a lot of fun. Here are a few ideas to spark your imagination. Thanks for visiting Art Fun with Mrs. Lombardo. Try to do a little bit of art every day and share what you've learned with someone you love.